So it's official, Williams have got their man that they were after. Carlos Sainz will become a Williams driver in 2025, ending months and months of speculation as to where he was going to be racing from next year. And this is quite a significant piece of news, because not only does it end all the speculation surrounding Sainz's future in Formula One going forward, it's a huge statement from Williams that they have managed to sign someone of Sainz's calibre. So let's have a look at this sort of deal in more detail and see what it means for both Sainz and Williams going forward. So like I said, Sainz's future really has been up in the air for months and months now, really since we learned that he would be losing his seat at Ferrari when Lewis Hamilton was announced as a Ferrari driver for 2025 and beyond back in February, I believe. And this really was a really huge blow to Sainz, because he had done absolutely nothing wrong. He was a fantastic driver for Ferrari. Ferrari loved him and would have absolutely have kept him on had Hamilton not become available. Then that really left Sainz's future in the dark as to what he was going to be able to do, what options were available to him. And as we've learned over the recent months, the options became fewer and fewer as time went on, and Sainz really took his time to mull over what he wanted to do, because obviously in the short to medium term it was going to be key as to what project was really going to stand out to him, which of those projects sort of met with his expectations and objectives. Because of course Sainz is 29 years old, he's going to be 30 I believe in September this year. Right now he's in his prime years in Formula One, and as we've seen at the start of this season, he really is driving the best he's really ever driven, and so really his next move was going to be key. Now we know of course that Sainz was trying to hold out for either a Red Bull and Mercedes seat if they became available, but we know that as time and time went on, I think Sainz realised that really those options weren't going to be available to him. Red Bull clearly were not interested in putting him alongside Max Verstappen, given that him and Verstappen, when they were teammates at Toro Rosso back when they began their careers in Formula One, that there was a little bit of quite a very competitive nature inside the team. But it wasn't just competitive between both of them on track, it was also competitive between the two dads, because obviously both Verstappen and Sainz have famous fathers in racing. And then from Mercedes' point of view, I think they're really focused on promoting Kimi Antonelli, given just how special a talent he is, and they don't want to miss this opportunity to give him a chance in their Formula One team from 2025. So once it became clear that the Mercedes and Red Bull deals were not on the table for Sainz, the only options that were available to him were at or near the back of the grid, and those obviously were Sauber, who obviously become Audi in 2026, Williams, and then Alpine, who made sort of a last-ditch attempt in recent weeks to try and lure Sainz away from signing with either Sauber or Williams, as they obviously rehired Flavio Briatore, who of course was team principal back in the 2000s, and there was obviously all this speculation that they were going to switch to a Mercedes engine, which of course would mean they become a customer, having obviously been a works team for many years. But in the end, Sainz has obviously decided that in the short to medium term, Williams' project is more aligned with his objectives and fits more in with what he wants in that short to medium long term than the Alpine or Sauber Audi projects. I think what has clearly got the Williams deal over the line is the fact that obviously Sauber aren't performing very well at the minute, and there's not a lot of expectation that even when they become Audi in 2026 that they will be able to hit the ground running. And in the case of Alpine, I think the fact that they're willing to give up works team status to become a customer team, if that obviously Mercedes engine deal does come through, I think maybe that actually in the end, although they felt that that could actually possibly lure Sainz to go to sign with them from next year, I think actually that possibly worked against them. As it stands, what's interesting for me is that Sainz has signed an initial 2-year deal, but it seems to me that the deal that he signed is actually a 4-year deal with an option for an extra 2. So he signed initially for 2 seasons, 2025 and 2026, and then he will have the opportunity to have a look at the situation if Williams have been able to hit the ground running in these new 2026 regulations, and see if he wants to remain for another 2 years in 2027 and 2028, and then if he is not happy with how the project has gone and it hasn't met his expectations and Williams aren't competitive, then he has the chance to leave the team and look elsewhere for a seat. Like I said at the start of the video, the fact that Williams has been able to get this deal over the line and sign someone of Sainz's calibre is a huge statement for the team, because of course they've been through some really dark times in recent years, Williams, and they're really now starting to look as though they're rebuilding and they're actually going somewhere. There's a lot of good positivity coming out of the team. You know, with James Vowles on board as team principal, he's clearly got a clear vision as to where he wants the team to go in the future. He's got obviously plans as to where he wants to take the team. He's mainly making some huge strides both on and off the track, obviously signing some key technical members such as Pat Fry, obviously, that he hired as Chief Technical Officer. He recently announced that the team had made several key senior technical signings from rival teams. I think all of that put together, as well as already having a Mercedes engine as well, we believe that when the regulations change in 2026, which obviously revolve heavily around the engine, we think that Mercedes are going to build another really strong engine for the new rules era. So that obviously all put together, I think, was key as to why they managed to land Sainz in the end. So Sainz obviously believes in the project and where Williams is heading. It is definitely in a positive trajectory, even though this season they have gone backwards compared to last year. But I think going forward there is a clear desire and clear focus on 2026. We know that James Vowles has mentioned, not just this season, he mentioned it last season, that all of the emphasis is on 2026. They're happy to sacrifice this year and 2025 to focus on those 2026 rules. So not only have Williams managed to sign a number of key technical signings and obviously having a lot of experience behind the scenes, and as well as having obviously Mercedes engine deal and having more sponsors on board and so on, they now also have a very, very strong driver lineup going forward, because of course Sainz is going to be joining Alex Albon, and Albon really has been one of the standout drivers over the last year or so, in the respect that he has really come out of his shell since he joined Williams in 2022, which obviously came off the back of his difficult Red Bull years where he really was put in the shadow of Max Verstappen, and now he really is starting to show his true talent and his true speed. We know that Williams, although they have turned a corner in recent years, and it's really been helped by the fact that they were taken over by Dorilton Capital, that really has injected a lot of money into the team, what they've been really missing is having two strong drivers rather than just the one strong driver. And having two good drivers is obviously better than having the one, for obvious reasons, because it's going to help boost performances, it's going to help boost the points tally and give Williams a better chance of finishing higher in the constructors' standings. And as a driver lineup, I can't think of many teams that have been either sort of in the midfield or near the back of the grid that have boasted such a strong driver lineup as Williams will have from 2025. The only one I can think of in recent times would be Jenson Button and Fernando Alonso when they were together at McLaren in 2015. On top of that, I would have to say that this is probably Williams' strongest driver lineup since 2004. I know people may say that maybe more recently Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Massa, when they were teammates at Williams for 3 seasons, that was quite a strong driver lineup, but I think you have to go back further. I think you have to go all the way back to when Juan Pablo Montoya and Ralf Schumacher were teammates at Williams for 4 seasons between 2001 and 2004. As a team pairing, they were really strong because obviously both were race winners. Both of them pushed each other really hard during those BMW years when obviously Williams were a very competitive package, coming close to winning both championships in 2003, but ended up just coming short during the Michael Schumacher Ferrari domination years. But I think for Williams' sake, they're going to hope that Albon and Sainz get on better than Schumacher and Montoya did, because although it was a very competitive era for Williams at that time at the start of the millennium, Schumacher and Montoya were two very competitive individuals, and although on the plus side they really did push one another hard and ultimately raised each other's game, from time to time the two would often fall out, and I think that obviously created a bit of tension inside the team. Another point I want to make is that both Albon and Sainz are in their prime years. They're both in their late 20s now, and they have a lot of experience that is going to be obviously valuable to Williams going forward. Both of them, I think, have well over 300, maybe even close to 400 Grand Prix starts between them. So not only is the experience going to be valuable, but also the fact that both are clearly talented and both are quick, both have fantastic racecraft, both are clearly hungry for more success as well. Obviously Sainz has 3 Grand Prix wins, Alex is yet to win a race, but obviously has those 2 podiums that he secured during his time at Red Bull. Clearly both of them also see, as well as Williams, that 2026 is a huge opportunity. So I think that the fact that Williams managed to re-sign Alex earlier this year on a new long-term deal, and now that they've got Sainz on board, it's really exciting times for the team. You can really see now that all of the pieces to the puzzle are starting to fit into place with Williams, and both Sainz and Albon are clearly going to help elevate the team forwards and help them raise their game further. So it's not just the driver lineup that is going to be key to Williams' possible success going forward, it's also the fact that under Vowles' leadership, Williams, I think, personally have a greater chance returning to their heyday and becoming a much more competitive outfit. What do you guys then make of Carlos Sainz joining Williams? Do you think that it's a good move, or do you think that he's made the wrong decision? Be sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And don't forget that if you are new around here, to like the video and to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.